Imagine your life is a grand building. You see the walls, the windows, and the roof. But there is a hidden workshop deep in the basement where every brick was shaped, every beam was cut, and every blueprint was drawn. According to the Dhammapada, that workshop is your mind. The sources describe this ancient text as a guide to humanity and a treasure of the world. It is not just a religious book, it is a psychological manual. Its opening words are perhaps the most important realization a human being can ever have. Mind is the forerunner of all mental states. Before you spoke a word today, before you took a single step, your mind was there, setting the stage. Today we are diving deep into the power of the mind, why it leads us to suffering, and how we can discipline it to find a happiness that never leaves. The sources tell us that mind is chief, mind-made are they. Think about that for a second. We often think the world happens to us. We think our boss makes us angry, or our partner makes us happy. But the Dhammapada flips the script. It suggests that the mental states, your anger, your joy, your fear, do not exist independently of the mind that perceives them. Your mind is the forerunner. This means that the quality of your life is not determined by what happens to you, but by the mental lens through which you view those events. If the lens is cracked, the world looks broken. If the lens is clear, the world looks bright. The sources emphasize that this isn't just about positive thinking. It's about understanding the mechanics of existence. Let's look at the first warning provided in the sources. If a person speaks or acts with a polluted mind, suffering follows him, even as the wheel follows the hoof of the draft ox. What is a polluted mind? The sources suggest it is a mind clouded by greed, hatred, and delusion. When we hold on to thoughts like, "He insulted me," "He defeated me," "He robbed me," our hatred is never stilled. Notice the analogy. The wheel of the cart. It is heavy, it creates friction, and it is bound to the ox. You cannot have the ox move forward without the wheel following. In the same way, the sources explain that if you carry a mind full of resentment or ill will, suffering is a mechanical certainty. It isn't a punishment from the universe. It is the natural, inevitable track left by your own thoughts. Now contrast this with the second verse. The sources state, if a person speaks or acts with a pure mind, happiness follows him like his never-departing shadow. A shadow is different from a cartwheel. A wheel is heavy and loud. A shadow is light, silent, and effortless. It doesn't require pulling. When your mind is pure, meaning it is free from the grip of ego and malice, happiness becomes your natural state. This happiness isn't a goal you reach. It's a consequence of how you walk. The sources explain that the virtuous person rejoices in both worlds, delighted by the purity of their mind. Own deeds. This is a person who has aligned their internal workshop with truth and compassion. If the mind is the key to happiness, why is it so hard to control? Why does it feel like it has a life of its own? The sources provide a vivid image. The mind is like a fish taken from its watery home and thrown on dry ground, quivering and gasping as it struggles to return to the realm of desires. It is fickle, unsteady, and difficult to guard. Left to its own devices, the mind wanders wherever it pleases. It's like an ill-thatched roof. When the rain of passion comes, it leaks right through. But here is the hope. The sources tell us that a wise person straightens their mind, just as a Fletcher straightens an arrow. An arrow maker doesn't just find a straight branch. They apply heat, pressure, and focus. To achieve peace, you must become the Fletcher of your own thoughts. How do we actually do this? The sources outline several practical tools for the workshop. Vigilance, Dhammapada. This is described as the path to the deathless. It means being awake to your own mental processes. The vigilant do not die, meaning they live with spirit and awareness, while the negligent are as if already dead. Sensory restraint. Just as a well-thatched house keeps out the rain, A mind that is guarded against the constant pull of the senses keeps out passion. This involves knowing the right measure in food, sleep, and intake. The island of wisdom. By effort, vigilance, and self-control, the wise person creates for themselves an island which no flood can overwhelm. When the storms of life come, loss, criticism, or failure, the disciplined mind remains unmoved, like a solid rock. Conquering the self. We often want to win arguments or defeat enemies, but the sources remind us, victory breeds hatred. The greatest victory is not over 1,000 men in battle, but over oneself. As the sources say, one is their own master. Who else could be the master? Perhaps the most famous lesson from the sources is this: hatred never ceases by hatred in this world. Through non-hatred, it ceases. This is the Sanantano, the eternal law. When we act with a polluted mind, we keep the wheel of suffering turning. But when we choose non-hatred, we break the cycle. The sources teach that we should conquer anger with non-anger, evil with good, and greed with giving. This is the ultimate straightening of the arrow. The Dhammapada doesn't ask you to believe in a miracle. It asks you to perform one on yourself. Every morning you wake up, you enter that hidden workshop. You choose which bricks of thought you will lay down. Will you build a cart that pulls suffering? Or will you walk so purely that happiness follows you like a shadow? As you go through your day, remember, neither mother, nor father, nor any relative can do as much for you as a well-directed mind. You are the architect.